Welcome to Gaming Perspective, episode 39. I'm your host, Nicholas Downey. Welcome to another episode. It's another Saturday night. We're here to talk about video games and eat beer and chicken wings. Well, drink beer and eat chicken wings. Eat your beer if you choose.
Oh boy.
So let's get the introductions out of the way. As always, to my left, or on my screen, he's to my left, Mr. Samkus Holbert.
Hey guys, how's it going? Hope everyone is doing well. We are back. Unfortunately, Mr. Eric Jackson is not with us tonight, which is a shame. However, he's had an incredibly busy day, and it's him and his wife's 6th anniversary, so we'd like to congratulate them on 6 very happy years of marriage.
Definitely.
But we're here. We got a lot to talk about, actually. There is a fair bit of news, so let's get going.
For sure. And to my furthest left in the Google Hangout, Jared from the Air Circle.
How's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Like Sam said, we got a lot to talk about. Some very interesting things have happened this past week, and I'm quite eager to get talking. So let's get to it.
All right. And as previously stated, Eric Jackson is not with us tonight. Wishing him and his wife the best. They've had a very busy day today, and just hoping they find some time for themselves today. Right off the top, just because it's a current event, don't usually cover current events, but people saw my thoughts and everything else I put out there. My heart's going out to everyone in New Zealand right now. Everyone's going through a lot down there. I know quite a few content creators and whatnot in that side of the world. It's pretty scary stuff going on right now. And I'm not going to get into it or any of the politics that are going on behind it, but just my heart hurts for the loss of life that we've seen and how jaded we've become to it all. It's sickening.
Definitely.
So that it is what it is. But we push forward and we persevere. So, as I ask this same question every episode, what have you guys been playing? We will start with Sam.
So, in addition to the usual Overwatch, because you and I hit up Overwatch consistently with Ivan, sometimes Fame, sometimes Jared joins in as well. That's always a lot of fun. We've been playing some Apex Legends. That was really, really good. We had a couple of good matches, decent matches earlier today. We had one that ended in catastrophe when the wall was about to close in, and we had decent gear, decent ammo, decent weapons. And I said, hey, guys, let's go inside the circle. And Nick said, no, let's go outside the circle. Why? I don't know. Let's go. And guess what happened? Nick got butchered. And then our friend who was with him got butchered. And while I valiantly tried to save them and downed one guy and injured another, we were all butchered. So the moral of this story is, when you're playing Apex Legends, go inside the ring. Thank you. That will be all. Okay, in addition to that, I've also been playing a ton of Devil May Cry 5. People may have seen I published my review early this morning. It's a ton of fun. Just go play it. It's okay if you have no prior history with the series. If this is your first, it's okay.
It is.
Go play it. There's a history of DMC video thing that they give you, so you'll understand what's going on. And it's not a complicated plot. It's cheesy. It's utterly over the top. It's fun. It's gorgeous. Go get it.
Right on. I am not going to go get it because I have too many games that I want to play.
No kidding, eh?
I'll like with everything for Capcom, I'll wait till it's $20-$30, buy it. It'll sit in my backlog for 6 months. And I'll play it and I'll go, why did I wait so long? I call that the Monster Hunter effect. What have you been playing, Jared?
Well, spectrum of Sam, where I've been playing some Devil May Cry 5, but mostly a lot of my time has been invested in the Division 2 recently. Boy, what a fantastic game that really is. It's been a nice treat to have because everybody knows how much I loved Anthem and how crappy of a launch that was. Let's be honest, it wasn't very good. So having the Division 2 come out and have a very steady, not so faulty of a launch was being a big fan of the first one and seeing all the improvements and expansions on what you can do and what happens on in the worlds in the Division 2 is absolutely fantastic. So I definitely would recommend everybody to give that game a try if you can.
For sure. And I myself, I've been playing a little bit of everything. I've been playing a little bit of a platformer called Awesome P on Vita. It's like Super Meat Boy, but way more frustrating, which is an accomplishment. I'm getting very angry playing this game because I want to get all the trophies, and it's driving me up the wall. Also been playing the Division 2. Really enjoying myself so far, especially for someone who doesn't really like the quote-unquote Schluter genre of games. It's pretty good. As Jared said, the performance is great compared to Anthem. Like, I managed to finish the first level of the Division 2 in 15 minutes. It took me a week in Anthem to get past the tutorial mission, so I'm pretty happy.
Yeah. Let's not go too far down that hole.
Yeah, let's not drop that. We're not going to touch that. It's like my 18 friends playing the Division. I'm like, guys, what happened to Anthem? Stop.
It's permanently in the yikes corner right now.
Yeah, they've got a lot of work to do, but I think they can pull it off and pull an audience back in. But yeah, so Division 2, Awesome P on Vita. I'm actually going to pick up Stardew Valley for my Vita because I just need something to be able to lay in bed and relax and play. And for some reason, Rage platformers isn't the wave. Laying in bed angrily mashing buttons while your wife is trying to sleep is not the way. So, but yeah, just relaxing, playing some games, working on Division 2 review, getting excited for Sekiro on Friday. We're going to be talking about that a lot on this podcast because it's the first game all four of us are going to be playing at the same time, because if Eric doesn't start it when it comes out, I'm going to break his leg. Man, put in the DMs, oh, I beat Resident Evil 2. Sir. Came out in January.
I was so in February. Get with the times.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna really put the boots to you guys, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this public too, because I was gonna do this in the group chat, but we're gonna make this public. First person to beat Sekiro gets a $25 gift card of their choice for.
Why you gotta be like that, bruh? Why you gotta be like that, bruh? You know I'm gonna pull all-nighters. This is going down. This is happening. All right, cool. Cool. I'm down. Let's do it.
All right. So first one of us that beats the game, $25 gift card.
The first one of us to beat Sekiro gets a $25 gift card?
Yes.
Oh, heck yeah. All right.
This is more of a competition for you, Eric, and Jared, because it is certainly not going to be me. If we're putting wagers on who's going to break a controller first, I'd win that wager.
I don't know about that one, man.
But in terms of the game first, I think it'd be pretty fun thing for you guys to do. And I might stream Sekiro. I'm going to put it on a streaming platform I don't care if I get banned from, because the amount of profanity that's going to come out of my mouth playing that game. I'm so excited, but I'm so angry already. But yeah, so we'll do that. It'll be a good time. So let's dive into the news a little bit. So, in a surprising announcement, Warner Brothers, Interactive Entertainment, and Turtle Rock have partnered on a new title. Turtle Rock has announced that Back 4 Blood, this is a co-op zombie game described as original and premium title, which is odd phrasing. Turtle Rock has a long history of developing co-op titles with zombies in Left 4 Dead and hunters taking on massive monsters in Evolve. So Turtle Rock Studios is the creators of Left 4 Dead and the creators of Evolve. One series obviously having better legs than the other.
Yeah.
I loved Evolve.
Although, you know what, I have to say, to their credit, to their credit, you know, Turtle Rock really did try with Evolve in its twilight years and its twilight months. They really did try.
It was a great concept, and it was, I think, a little bit poorly planned out as a pure multiplayer experience, because I played a lot of it and I really enjoyed it, especially playing as the monster. And I really like how it's a 4 versus 1 giant monster. Like, how fun is it to play a big ass beast like that? It's just so cool. And I really enjoy doing that. But there were some aspects to where some of the characters were just way overpowered. And if you combine them, it had a really good working team. It was nearly impossible to win or even play that game. So with having no campaign, that was another big falter and setback. There was no way for anyone who got discouraged from playing multiplayer to keep playing the game, because there's no other way to play the game. Let someone like me,
I think
stopped.
I think what killed Evolve, because I think if you released a game like Evolve now, it would have gotten somewhere, to be brutally honest. I feel like its launch time frame was when everyone was like, ugh, we don't want this. No, we don't want these kind of games. Duh.
Yeah.
I think
it's true, because it's a more of a battle royale environment now, right? It's a heavily more competitive publicly environment too.
Like, look, I'm going to put it blatantly. Consumers are a lot more content to have less content on launch than they used to be. People used to really have high standards for the amount of content in a game. Now people are just like happy if the game shows up and it works. Evolve had balance issues, was a major thing too. Is like their character balance wasn't great. The characters were too strong and the monster was weak, or the monster was overpowered, and it was a really hard game for them to balance. And it's a shame it ended the way it did. But I'm interested to see what they could do. Like I said, creative minds behind Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead is the best co-op zombie game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested. They have my attention. Calling it Back 4 Blood, though, feels like they're really trying to be like, forget about Evolve. This is about Left 4 Dead. Evolve never happened. We're thinking about this game now. So that's pretty exciting. Back 4 Blood is coming to Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC, though Turtle Rock is open to more platforms. This is not a battle royale game. However, player versus player combat will be included. So we'll have to wait and see. Not too much to read into it right now, but we'll see. This is something we'll get more information on down the road, I'm sure.
It's definitely the only thing I can really say right now is it's a little weird to have a specific title and idea for a game announced without even so much as a logo. I mean, forget a trailer, forget a teaser trailer. They ain't even given us a logo, and I will admit that's a little weird, but we'll see. We'll see what's going on.
It's really weird, too, that they specifically went out of their way to say it's on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC when we know the generation switch is just around the corner. So they're not giving you a logo, a trailer, nothing. And they're like, yep, this generation hardware, though. It's
definitely possible that it's one of those games sort of like Assassin's Creed 4 that ends up being cross-gen. You guys remember in the early Game Informer ads when Assassin's Creed 4 was first announced, when they said, oh yeah, it's coming to PC, PS3, Xbox 360, and other platforms, but we can't talk about that yet. That was, I think it could be a similar situation, possibly.
Yeah, for sure. I'm interested. I love co-op games.
Sure.
I love the co-op experience, and there isn't too many co-op games I don't walk away from without having a blast, with the exception of Earthfall. Fuck that game.
It's so bad. It's so bad. I haven't touched it since it launched. Maybe they fixed it.
No, they still haven't. Me and my co-op partner went through it for my review. It's my lowest rated review I've ever written. I think I gave it like a 4 out of 10. It was painful. There was no fixing that with patches either, unfortunately. But moving right along here, for our PlayStation users, you guys have a great game on the way. So Path of Exile comes to PlayStation 4 later this month. Path of Exile, if you're not familiar, is a free-to-play action role-playing game from developers Grinding Gear Games. The game heavily draws influence from Blizzard's famous Diablo series. While Path of Exile is similar in some ways, there's a lot that sets it apart and make it a very unique experience. Originally launching on PC back in October 2013, it came to Xbox One later in 2017 with a promise that a PlayStation 4 version was in the works. Now we have an official launch date for Path of Exile on PlayStation 4, officially announced via Twitter today. Path of Exile, with its latest expansion, Synthesis, will be launching on PS4 March 26th. So any thoughts on this? Anyone here play Path of Exiles at all, or no?
No, I have
yeah,
not.
a tiny bit, but yawn. I'm okay. No offense to the game or anything like that. It's just I didn't get attached to it. So
yeah, that's absolutely fair. Like, I'm not a huge fan of those games in general. Like, I love Diablo, but the kind of time sink that's required for it, it's like, I'm good, I think. It is free to play, so if you like Diablo, then give it a whirl. It's really well put together game. The microtransactions are purely cosmetic. There's nothing predatory in terms of microtransactions. However, I will put the disclaimer on there. It is the game is co-developed / published by Tencent. So do with that information what you will.
Okay. Gotcha.
Not going to say anything, but y'all should know what that means. So the biggest piece of news that came out this week, and no, I'm not talking about the DayZ launch trailer.
It looks, yeah.
No, Jared, no. I'm not even going to.
Can we just have World War Z instead, and let's forget everything else?
Yeah, just forget DayZ happened.
Yeah.
So the Halo Master Chief Collection is coming to PC. Some big news for the Halo Master Chief Collection was previously teased during March 2019's episode of Inside Xbox. 343 Industries confirmed that Halo Master Chief Collection is coming to PC. It will be available on the Windows Store and on Steam. Additionally, Halo Reach has been added. The multiplayer will be free for existing Halo Master Chief Collection owners, while the campaign and firefight mode will be purchasable. They'll be included as part of Xbox Game Pass. The PC version of Halo Master Chief Collection will roll out over the next few months, starting with the release of Halo Reach. The Halo Master Chief Collection now includes Halo Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 3 ODST, Halo 4, Halo Reach. So, let's run through the panel. What are you guys' thoughts about Halo coming to PC and, more importantly, Steam as well? We'll start with Sam.
Okay, so in brief, I think this is a fantastic move. Let's be perfectly realistic here, okay? It's been huge for them, botched as the launch was, and they've committed to fixing it. They enhanced it last year. That's great stuff. But Microsoft has gotten every last dollar for that they can get for the Master Chief Collection on Xbox One. If it was going to move more Xbox Ones, they'd be selling right now for it. Like, you guys see what I mean? Everyone who is going to purchase an Xbox One for that will be influenced by that, has already done so. Okay, so with that in mind, bringing it to PC makes a ton of sense. It is a huge market. You know, there's how many hundreds of millions of PCs that'll be capable of running these games. They're going to do it right. They're bringing ultra-wide monitor support. Mods are even rumored to be discussed. That's not confirmed. That's just, supposedly. They're going to have full internet connectivity, full options for all the multiplayer modes and stuff like that. This is awesome. This is fantastic. I expect to see crossplay, considering that Xbox One is getting mouse and keyboard support. So I imagine opt-in crossplay is going to be coming. And I'm excited, man. I'm really excited. A massive amount of people are going to be picking up Halo that maybe have not played it in a long time or have never played it in their lives. And I know for a fact I've already gotten an Xbox One, but I'll pick it up again on PC if I have to. If it's not Play Anywhere, I'll purchase it again. No question.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah, so Sam, or not Sam, Jared, what's your thoughts? Halo Master Chief Collection PC.
Well, people have been asking for Halo on PC for years now. Like, that's all I can remember since the first Halo came out. Why can't they get it on PC? It's just been a long, kind of unanswered question, and honestly, there's kind of really been no real reason for it to not be on PC in the long term. So it's really nice to see having the Master Chief Collection be as sort of an overall introduction to the whole Halo universe in one package for PC players for them to catch up on. It is definitely, I think, the right move and the best move for them to also show that they're very much putting their company towards the whole play anywhere, play your games on any platform, not being restricted to just one platform sort of thing, and just being able to enjoy your game on what you want to enjoy it on. So I think it's just a good move. It's not a bad thing at all. I'm really excited for a lot of people to be introduced into Halo probably for the first time ever, because there's probably people out there who have only been playing PC and never actually played Halo before. So it's nice to see.
Yeah, and not only that, dude, there's also something else we have to keep in mind. Halo Infinite is being shown off, or at least the Slip Space engine is being shown off in detail at E3. Microsoft said so at Inside Xbox. They said you'll see Halo Infinite at E3, confirming Brad Sam's report about a month ago before this.
That's fantastic.
So with that in mind, think about it. This is the perfect marketing scheme to open up Halo to hundreds of millions of people who now have the option to play it and be adding, oh, by the way, here's Halo Reach, here's Halo 1, here's Halo 2, here's Halo 3, those campaigns and that multiplayer. And they're doing that in the lead up to a big spiritual reboot for the franchise. That's a huge deal. That's a massive deal. And that tells you how seriously they're taking things.
And they've worked very hard in making sure that each game in that Master Chief Collection is true to how the game originally played at that time. It may be updated with current day technology, but it still plays like it used to. It may look different, but you can choose whether it looks new or look in the past as well. Well, that's more so just for the campaign and single player. But still, they've put a lot of effort into this, and it's nice to see that it's paid off. It's going to pay off big, I think.
Yeah, for sure. It's exciting. I'm excited to see Halo return to PC, because Halo 1 and Halo, can't remember if Halo 2 hit PC. But Halo, the original Halo launched on PC the year after it launched on Xbox. And that's actually where I first experienced Halo, was on PC back in 2004, 2005 timeframe. So it's really exciting for it to come home. It's great to see 343 putting so much effort into the Master Chief Collection, both for the console version and the PC version, including things like FOV sliders and all the options that the PC market likes in their games. I think they should be commended for bringing this franchise across. And let's face it, this is the best thing that's happened to Halo in a while. Because let's face it, people can talk about Halo 5 all they want. Multiplayer was okay. Story was, so I'm interested to see what Halo Infinite holds, but right now I'm just super excited to be able to dive back into Halo Reach again. Like, it's one of my favorite games of all time. The firefights was fun. And that means the Master Chief Collection is going to have even more achievements now, which, yay, more 10 gamer score achievements, because we need more of those. Just as much as we need more 17 gamer score achievements in Ashen.
You can't compare those two things. Come on, dude. You can't compare.
No, 5 gamer score achievements and 17 gamer score achievements. Those things will forever annoy the hell out of me. Oh, beat the whole game on Legendary with no firearms, only using the melee button. Here's 5 gamer score for your trouble.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, so no, but it's exciting. I'm excited more people are going to get to experience Halo, maybe never experienced Halo. I'm excited for crossplay, because mouse and keyboard support comes, then crossplay will come. And I look forward to beating my PC friends into the ground in Halo. So pretty exciting times. So yeah, all in all, it's a good thing. Looking forward to diving back in. No release date set for Halo Reach at this time, but this feels like one of those and now available at E3 kind of deals.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah, all in all, I can say is I'm really excited for Halo. I really like the amount of effort they're putting in with Infinite, wanting fan feedback, and everything else, and looking at all aspects of the game, not only in the multiplayer aspect, but also looking for input in the single player portion. And I think that's a really unique approach. And I've got my fingers crossed that 343 can deliver in all aspects with Halo Infinite versus nailing one thing and not necessarily getting the other. So in a really bizarre news piece, and when I say bizarre, I mean like really bizarre. So Judgment, which just got a Western release date from the developers of Yakuza, is currently embroiled in a little bit of a situation. So Sega pulled Judgment from sales and deletes tweets about the game coming to the West and the game in general, deleting several tweets after actor tests positive for cocaine. So actor Pierre Taki has been arrested in Japan for alleged cocaine use. Police officers searched the actor's car following a tip-off. The car search didn't turn anything up, but Taki tested positive for the drug following a urine test. The report comes from Mainichi News via Kotaku. Taki lends his voice and likeness to Yakuza Kioi Hamura in Judgment, new game from the Yakuza team. It's already out in Japan and is due to come to the West later this year. Japan has a zero tolerance for policy for drug use, and possession of cocaine can carry a sentence of up to 7 years. Sega has temporarily pulled Judgment from sale while it decides what to do. The publisher has been also deleting all promotional tweets in regards to the title. It might seem like an overreaction, but it lines up with Japan's draconian views on illegal substances and the harsh penalties attached to them. In 2018, actor Hiroki Naramiya was replaced in Yakuza 4 due to alleged cocaine offenses. It could be that Sega is planning to make a similar change in Judgment, though this will likely be a long and difficult process since the game is already in the wild. As Kotaku notes, Taki also voices Olaf in the Japanese version of Frozen, as well as in Kingdom of Hearts 3. Disney Japan has a track record for choosing the nuclear option when its stars are caught up in any drug controversy. They're using lens flares to take our butts, and now they're not letting us use drugs. This is weird. Okay, like my knowledge of Japanese culture is very minimal. I did know about their viewpoints on drug abuse, but Sam can refresh my memory. When was the last time a game after launch got pulled off the shelves like this?
Good grief, dude. Even I couldn't tell you that without like doing a Google search, which I'm doing right now. Like, it doesn't happen often. It really doesn't happen. The most infamous one I can think of is Too Human. That comes to mind due to the legal issue where Silicon Knights decided to sue Epic Games, and that seriously backfired. And the result was that they had to withdraw it from digital stores and pull any unsold physical copies and destroy them. So that one rings out in my head, but that's always been due to how infamous it was. And that was several years ago. You have issues like games being pulled in Germany because of gore or things like that, but that's always been a little weird. Like, it hasn't happened in a long time, is the point I'm getting at. It really doesn't happen often.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it sucks. I was so excited for this game. Like, I love the Yakuza games, and I was so excited for this, and it looking like the Western version will definitely be getting delayed at this point. Also, in 2 updates on this article, Ashi News reports Disney is indeed replacing Taki as Olaf in Japanese language versions of Frozen 2. And in update number 2, voice actor Pierre Taki is having a really bad week. First, he was arrested for cocaine use, and Sega pulled Judgment from sale in Japan. And later, Disney decided for a new Japanese voice actor for Olaf in Frozen 2. And Square Enix will now release an update Kingdom Hearts 3 in Japan, replacing his voice work as Olaf as well. Damn. So they're basically erasing this guy from history.
Yep. Like he never did it.
If you're a voice actor and you're working on a Japanese series, don't do drugs. Like, seriously, don't do it.
You imagine how many movies would make it on the screen if we drug tested people like actors? Like, we would never have gotten a Charlie Sheen movie ever.
That's true.
Which may not have been a bad thing, though. But conversely, it's a culture shock thing, especially it's so weird. And me and Sam had a conversation about that it's really weird that they take they're so restrictive in the terms of drug use and everything else, but in terms of sexuality and sex-based games, Japan's a whole different nutshell, and it's a really stark contrast.
It's bizarre. It really is bizarre how seriously they take drug issues, considering, without getting into this conversation, the incredibly relaxed standards they have on other things, shall we say.
Yes.
It's interesting. It's interesting to watch. It should get resolved soon, I imagine. I don't think this is going to even delay the Western release. I don't think so. I think they have enough time to patch it, but we'll see.
I'm hoping it's just a patch. My heart goes out to this guy. Like, it just seems so brutal. Like, it just kills me. It's like, oh, you pissed hot on a drug test? You're looking at 7 years in prison, and we're going to erase that any work that you did. And shout in the chat, Glorious War. Japanese drug policy is crazy. You only get a fine for child porn in Japan for your first offense, which is wow. Okay. That's this is what I'm talking about. Culture differences around the world can be very shocking. We've talked about it before when I talk about when everyone got angry at CD Projekt Red for some off-color tweets. And I said that, Eastern Europe is not exactly up to the same cultural sensitivity that we are in the West. But it is what it is. This guy did cocaine. They're removing everything he's ever done in voice acting. Yet the guy who is the orchestra or does the music for Dragon Quest is a Holocaust denier. So, pick your battles, I guess. That's all you can say. I hope the game comes out in a timely fashion. It's unfortunate for this guy, but I can't imagine if you lived... Like, this guy is born, raised, and lives in Japan, so he knew the consequences for his actions. So it's, in the mortal words of the Twitter gaming community, that sounds like a you problem. So
I don't gotta worry about that because that's the you problem, bruh.
Yeah. So hopefully Sega gets it sorted out. It is what it is. So, final little bit of news here came from Inside Xbox, which was Hunt Showdown is coming to Xbox Game Preview. Now, if you remember correctly, I believe that was shown off originally at XO18. I believe. Or was that E3?
But what was it again?
Hunt Showdown. Was that shown off at E3?
That was Gamescom. Gamescom 2018.
That was Gamescom. Okay, so it was shown off at Gamescom originally. Any excitement for this game? I'm kind of excited for this one.
Mild interest. I have the PC version. It's interesting. The main issue right now is just lack of content. It's in early access on PC. The concept is super cool. Like, gross Louisiana-esque terrain with twisted monsters and demons you have to banish, and sort of a PvP but not really system where you're encouraged to try and figure out if you're getting along with someone or not. It's different. There's just not a lot of variety right now. But as more content comes in, I'll be interested. It's a good get. It'll be interesting to see it in Xbox's game preview program.
For sure. Jared, what about yourself?
Well, just could echo what Sam said. I'm very interested in it, but a lot of lack of content right now. It's definitely a player versus environment versus player sort of a weird experience. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I'm always interested in what Crytek has to or is working on and what kind of game they're currently working on, because I really like their talent and what their studio is capable of and what the CryEngine can do. So I'm curious to play it, but I'm not kind of overly excited. I'm optimistic.
Yeah, at this point, Crytek they need a win.
Yeah, they need a little bit of a break.
It's an interesting concept. I really like it. The permadeath is interesting to me. We've seen a few games introduce permadeath for your character. Hunt Showdown has it. Escape from
Tarkov.
That's it.
Yeah.
Escape from Tarkov has a similar, not exactly the same, but same permadeath system, so to speak. You build up a character, you get loot, yada, yada, yada. But if you die, you lose everything. It's definitely one of those games where you're not going to want to, like, I believe you can play with friends. Like, you can team up with friends. I could be wrong, but this definitely doesn't seem like a game where you want to, like, jump in for, like, a solo game or you want to casually play. It feels like one of those games that you have to be, like, in the mood, in the zone to play, so to speak. Because it's like, sometimes I just want to boot up a game and just, like, chill. Like, sometimes on PUBG, I'll just drop hot for the sake of dropping hot. And I feel like with Hunt the Showdown, I'd be really mad if I was just having a casual day and I lost a character I'd been working on for like 5 weeks. I think that'd be obscenely frustrating. But it's an interesting skill dynamic and everything else to the game. I'll probably pick it up, but I'm definitely tempering my expectations. So that pretty much wraps up the news segment. So our discussion topic tonight's going to be a little bit of fun. And we'll give you an idea of the panel's style of games, so to speak.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
As a lot of people know, I've been very blatant. I was a lot more of a casual multiplayer gamer last generation. And a lot of the games I would pick would reflect that. So what I decided to do for a discussion topic tonight is we're doing our top 5 games from last generation. Now, these don't have to be critically the best games we played. These don't have to be amazing games. These are just 5 games that when you think about gaming on Xbox 360 or PS3, if you gamed on those, or if you gamed on PC or the Wii, it's just games you enjoyed from that generation. So, and these don't have to be in any particular order. We're not listing this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're going to go across the board for our number 5 pick, so to speak. So everyone's going to say 1.
Oh, boy.
Wait a little bit, then we'll go next.
Crap.
And we'll do it this way. There's a reason I kept the news segment short today. So,
because I have to think about this, man.
I gave you guys like 8 hours with the
That's
topic.
Not enough. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. What you talking about? You saw me play the Division 2. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Oh, Lord. Nick, can you start us off, or do you need me to start us off?
I will most definitely start us off. So, this took me a long time. I'm not going to lie. Like, when I decided this was a discussion topic on, like, Wednesday, it took me all the way up till this morning to figure it out.
Couldn't have let us know on Wednesday, though.
Right. Jeez.
So, the first game that I'm going to pick is going to be Fallout 3. And the reason I'm picking Fallout 3 is it was a game I bought on sale originally for like $19 at EB Games. Okay. I played it for like half an hour. I went, ugh. And I put it down. And then I started dating my wife back in high school. I was probably about 16, 17, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, you have Fallout 3? I love Fallout 3. I'm like, you don't even like video games. Okay. So we started just hanging out and like munching on snacks, and I started playing Fallout 3. And soon enough, I loved Fallout 3. Like, it was one of my favorite games. By the end of it, it was the first game that really got me into achievement hunting. and branching out into more RPGs again, because I played a lot of RPGs on PC, but once I hit transition to 360, I just played competitive shooters for a lot of my time. So switching to an RPG, it made me really dive back in, so to speak, which led to me playing games like New Vegas and Skyrim and everything else. So it's like a stepping stone into becoming what people would call a quote unquote more hardcore gamer, so to speak. Sam.
Okay, so for my number 5 pick, excuse me, I'm going to have to go with Dark Souls. I was introduced to Dark Souls, about a year after it had come out, and I loved it. It was absolutely fantastic. I hadn't played Demon Souls. This was my introduction to the series, to FromSoft's games, and it was absolutely awesome. I love the difficulty. I love the different builds. I love the mysterious tone, the lore, the item descriptions. Like, it was so, so good. I fell in love with the series then, and I've been a FromSoft fan ever since.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I remember buying Dark Souls because the guy at GameStop's like, it's really hard. I'm like, yeah, sure it is.
You didn't believe him.
I didn't believe him. I broke that controller like 48 hours later.
No, you should have listened.
I remember that because that was the one. I had like a little game shelf beside my couch. I got really bad, like smashed the controller off the shelf. I broke the shelf and the controller.
It's like playing Ninja Gaiden Black for the first time and just getting your butt whooped.
Okay, the Ninja Gaiden game that was on the original Xbox. God bless the controller. God bless it for being like practically indestructible when I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
Didn't have the arm strength to break a Duke controller. I don't think you can. I'm pretty sure you just throw it into the ground, it creates a crater.
What do you expect? It's probably made out of the same material Nokia phones are made out of.
Nokia? What are you talking about? That thing is made out of the same stuff Starship hulls are made out of.
Exactly.
It's graded for re-entry.
That's my whole damn point.
So, Jared, your next pick.
All right, so this one's a little out of the blue. Lost Planet. If you guys remember it at all. Lost Planet was actually one of my all-time favorite kind of third-person shooters that you could play at the time. The world that Capcom built, that ice world, and walking around and being able to grapple onto the environment to short grappling points, and these giant bugs and monsters you have to go shoot up and destroy in the weak points, and you have to be careful not to freeze and make sure you heat up and keep warm. And like the world that they created was so unique and cool. I'm happy it continued for as long as it did into 3 or 4 games, but it hasn't continued on since. I would really like for them to reboot that game, but Lost Planet definitely would come in at number 5, and it's definitely up there. And I think it's yeah.
You know what? My old roommate was like obsessed with Lost Planet. I never played it. I probably should have, but I just remember I came home from a party and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning and my roommate's like 4 inches away from his TV screen. And like just house robe and like 8 beer bottles like scattered all over the table. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm playing Lost Planet, man. I'm so into this game. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you should ask Doc about that. About Lost Planet. He'll tell you about it. I'm pretty sure he's a pretty big fan of that game.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Does it have shotguns?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's got shotguns and more. Oh yeah. It was doing mech warfare before Titanfall was even there.
Ooh. My next one, once again, I'm the most generic person on this podcast, is Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
Okay, all right.
Not because the campaign was amazing, because it really wasn't. That multiplayer, though, was the peak for me. That was the best I ever played. That's the best I ever did in tournaments. I remember that because over the summer, I think I made about $12,000 in tournament winnings from doing 1v1s and GBs and everything else. That game was insane. I pumped so much time into that game. I was, domination, search and destroy, M8A1, the USMC. Like, I can still list off the classes I used, the weapons I used, the kill streaks I ran. I lost myself in that game for so long, and I don't regret any of it. And I still, thanks to backwards compatibility, I can still boot it up and go beat up on kids that are playing it on 360.
Isn't it nice to have backwards compatibility to do that? It's just a nice little thing to have. Just
load up. All I do is I'll load up hardcore domination. I'll grab the I'll load up hardcore domination with the AN94 with a silencer on it and just run.
My man.
It is
my man. That's what I'm talking about. That's how we do it.
It's such a great game.
I was a hardcore guy too, definitely.
Man. I love hardcore. That's the only mode I play in Call of Duty still. I miss when Call of Duty was big enough that they had hardcore tournaments.
Hardcore TDM was all mine. That was my competitive days. That's all I played competitively was hardcore TDM.
Oh, so good.
So good.
So, Sam, number 4.
Okay, so my number 4. Oh, by the way, I need to give a disclaimer right here, right now. Okay. The reason The Last of Us isn't going to be on this list is because I didn't have a PS3, and when I played The Last of Us, it was in 2015 after I'd gotten my PS4. I absolutely loved it, but I played the PS4 version, and Nick's exact wording to us in chat was games we think of when we think of last generation. So it didn't feel right to me to put it on there just because it technically came out then. Okay, that's the reason why. All right,
understand.
So it's not in there. If I had played it then, it would absolutely be in my list. There you go. Disclaimer, because I knew someone was going to bring it up. With that in mind, my number 4 is Gears of War 3. I could not measure the hours of how much my brothers and I and our friends poured into Gears of War 3. That game's incredible campaign. It's the best campaign of the first 3 Gears games, no question. I think it still has the best campaign out of the entire series. The epic 4-player co-op, the awesome evolving Lambent, the new types of Locust, the PvP, the incredible Horde 2.0, and all the new stuff it brought, like fortifications and airstrikes and all this other cool stuff you could do. It was incredible. We lost thousands of hours of time to that game, and I don't regret it at all. They even added additional maps and, ROM Shadow, the mini campaign that let you play out the events of, years past and during E-Day. Like, it was really, really cool. That is one of those games where when I think about how much time I spent gaming last generation, a significant chunk of it on a pie chart would show up as Gears of War 3. I could wax on and on about that game for a long time.
I believe it.
Yeah, for sure. My best friend growing up was huge into Gears of War. I didn't get into it till this generation. But yeah, the Gears of War was a phenomenon last generation, that's for sure. And I know tons of people that lost hundreds of hours to that game, whether it was multiplayer, playing the campaign on hardest difficulty, or Horde, or just a lot of great stuff to that game. Jared, you're number 4.
Oh boy. All right. You ready for this one? Call of Duty World at War. That reminds me of 360. I really, really enjoyed that World War II setting, and especially their multiplayer, because that was just after Call of Duty 4, and I was still very much into playing the multiplayer and competitive playing. So when World at War came out, it was a nice switch up from the modern technology to go back to old school. But that's where I truly shined in my multiplayer. That's when I joined tactical gaming and started playing on MLG ladders and Frag Nation ladders and stuff like that as a team and competitively. And our team in Hardcore TDM, we would average in the top 10 of the worlds every other week. So it was really fun to play. and I really miss that environment. So a lot of my time invested in about a year and a half, 2 years worth of time back in the 360 era was spent in that one particular game. So that's the one that stands out roughly in that place for me.
Right on.
That's a good choice, man. Good choice.
Yeah, that's a really good choice. I got a note too. There'd be a lot more PS3 games in this, except I bought PS3 day one, and mine died 2 years later, and I didn't replace it.
Ooh.
So I didn't get the renaissance of PS3 games of things like Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, Last of Us, things like that. Those are games I'm catching up with on PS4 right now. And as Sam said, these are what we played last generation. So I just want to clarify that for people, because there are some games that are going to be missing off this list because I didn't game on PS3 for about 3/4 of the generation. And there are a ton of good games. MotorStorm comes to mind as a great PS3 title. But I just want to throw that out there. It's PS3 got better later in the generation. Unfortunately, I didn't reinvest after dropping the almost $1,000 on my launch PS3 and then having it die 2 years later. Was not I was not rushing out to buy another one. My next one, and it's going to be my last shooter, is Halo Reach. Because
glad someone picked it.
SWAT is just my life. That was my lifeblood. It's what kicked me into starting my clan up. It's what got me into competing heavily. SWAT was just so good on Halo Reach. Just being able to go into the lobbies and trash talk the hell out of each other, and then 50-5, and then just be like, man. Oh, you want to talk? You want to talk? Xbox 360 was so toxic back in the day.
Yeah,
but at my age point, it was so good.
So bad.
It was so, like, if I look back, I still have like 98% of like my YouTube videos from back in the day, and I just watch myself. I'm just like, stop.
Xbox 360 area Call of Duty just like bled teenage angst. It was so bad.
Yeah. Halo Reach, I don't know. Halo Reach was one of the few Halo campaigns I really loved.
It was so good. It was fantastic.
The multiplayer level up system of unlocking different armor sets and everything else. And it was really cool. It was really balanced. The multiplayer was really good right off the bat. The campaign was great. Yeah, it was one of the best Halo games I ever played, and by far the Halo game I've had the most time spent in. I was either playing SWAT or me and my friends were playing zombies.
Yeah, I love Infection, and it was so good. So good. That's one of my favorite one of my favorite games to play anytime my friends would come over would be Infection, because that was a riot. It was an absolute riot to play with a bunch of friends.
Oh yeah, I can remember some of the game nights of playing Infection, and such a great game.
Mm-hmm.
Sam, number 3 pick.
My number 3, Skyrim. The Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim. What can I say? I picked this game up after seeing a relative play it at a Thanksgiving gathering. This was like a month after the game. Well, not a month. It wouldn't have been a month. A few days, actually, after the game came out. And I fell in love with it. It was just, whoa, this was incredible. Go anywhere, be who you wanted to be a Nord warrior, swinging your greatsword around. But you could also be a sneaking elf, under the cover of night using poisons. You could assassinate people. You could help out a rebellion, win a war, or you could side with the Empire to crush the Stormcloaks. You could kill dragons and rip out their souls. It was epic fantasy. And I absolutely loved it. I think Oblivion was popular, make no mistake, and other people played Fallout 3 in New Vegas, but Skyrim, I believe, is when Bethesda Softworks became a household name. I believe that. I stand by that statement, and for very, very good reason. I've played multiple different builds, played hundreds of hours, and due to the nature of that type of game, obviously never actually finished it.
I doubt anyone's ever finished that game.
Yeah, I don't know about finish it. I know my best friend has all the achievements, if that counts for anything, for the DLC, and
that's the closest thing to finishing it. And my brother actually does too. My brother has all the achievements.
The thing with Skyrim is achievement wise, it wasn't hard. It was just long. You have to you'd have to play for a long, we're talking 200 hours. Plus, some of that DLC...
We're talking more like 300 or 400 hours.
Oh, yeah, because I forgot how chunky those DLCs were, too.
Oh, yeah. When they... Forget DLCs. Those are proper expansions.
Mm.
I mean, building your own house and customizing it and putting up, mannequins with the armor and weapons, the crystals you've collected. Great. Now I'm feeling like I want to play Skyrim. No, don't do it.
Hey, don't worry. You can play Skyrim on anything.
Heck yeah.
Anything. Jared.
Hey, Siri. All right. Okay. So Tommy already mentioned in the chat, and I'm a little surprised that actually you said Halo Reach, because it was either going to be Halo Reach or Halo 3 for me. So it's Halo 3 for my number 3. Halo 3, again, being another shooter, and I guess a staple almost for any Xbox 360 owner in general. You kind of had to have either Halo 2, Halo 3, or Halo Reach. Either one of those would suffice. But Halo 3 was really the one Halo that seemed to just take off like a rocket. It was just absolutely substantial. And I remember that I had one friend at the time. We grew up through school together in elementary school and high school, and we would always skip the first day of each Halo's launch day. We'd skip school and we'd take it off and we'd go buy the game and go back to his place, and we both play co-op campaign throughout the whole thing and try to beat it as fast as possible. And there's just a lot of childhood memories that I built through Halo, and they really stemmed for me, and they manifest themselves a lot whenever I see or play Halo 3. So that's definitely the biggest throwback for me for the 360 in comparison to a lot of the other games. But Halo 3 takes the number 3 spot.
Right on. Yeah, I never really got into Halo 3. I really should have.
It's so good.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to have to play through on the Master Chief Collection for sure.
You should, man. Definitely.
You should.
Definitely.
I'm trying not to pick another shooter, but it's going to be another shooter. Because how I picked my list was I just typed in the previous generation games. I was just browsing through a list. There's no way I can go through a list without putting BioShock Infinite on it. That is the best game that came out in 2013. No holds barred.
Yeah.
The storytelling, that ending had me going, what? 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 And its political message has more meaning now than it ever has. And it's just the gameplay is perfect. It's so good. It's pure, it's good, it's fun. It's hard as hell on the hardest difficulties. And it's just, it's my favorite world to get lost in. That city in the sky, the zip lining around, just so good. So good. Sam.
Ken Levine, man. Ken Levine is on another level. What a genius.
Right? He really is.
What a genius. So, my number 2 game now?
Yes.
Nick? All right, Nick muted himself. I'm assuming it's my number 2. Okay.
So number 2.
This one really could, and it's funny because Nick said Halo Reach, Jared, you said Halo 3. Okay, this really could be either one. I swear, I debated this up until the last second now. Flip a coin and it could be either one of them, but I have to say one, so I'm just going to say Halo Reach.
Okay. Yeah,
Good
definitely.
Lord, the amount. There were 3 games that I poured a ton of time into in terms of multiplayer last generation, like more than the other stuff. One was Gears of War 3, another was Halo 3, and the third was Halo Reach. And good Lord, the times we had on Halo Reach. It's one of my favorite gaming memories. I picked Halo Reach up the second it came out at midnight, the old midnight launch at GameStop, brought it back home, got something to drink, woke up my brother, told him, surprise, I got Halo Reach for us. We sat up taking snacks and, getting drinks, and we played Halo Reach's campaign all night long and finished it that night. And that is one of my favorite gaming memories of all time. It was
awesome.
Insane seeing not how it all began, because canonically Halo Wars takes place first, and even then that's not how it began, but seeing the struggles that went into Reach. For all this time we'd heard about the fall of Reach, right? Everyone would say, remember Reach, the fall of Reach. Reach was the last hope before Earth. Reach fell, now all that stands is the Earth, or something's not right. The fleet that destroyed Reach was 50 times the size. It had been built up to this mythological event, and it was like, what happened there? And really, it was a sci-fi retelling of the Battle of Thermopylae. Okay, and mild spoilers, but seriously, like, why have you not played it by now? Seeing your team fall one by one, just as you've barely gotten to know them, and seeing them struggle and try and sacrifice and die just so the others can make it a little further, and then keep on dying a little further. One of Halo's strongest campaigns, emotionally speaking. And the level design is great. The weapon variety is crazy. Multiplayer, good Lord, how much time did I lose in multiplayer? The assassinations it introduced were awesome. And let's not even, right? Armorlock, we all remember that, boys. How overused Armorlock was. But it was okay because we all overused it, so it was perfectly balanced. Yeah, that was some good times.
Excuse me.
Yeah, for sure. That was definitely Halo Reach, man. I cannot wait to go back in. Like I have it on backwards compatibility, but it's not the same.
Can't wait for Infinite. Can't wait.
Jared, number 2.
Okay, this is going to be an odd one. Because this is not much of an introduction. This should not have been my introduction into the series at all. It was an atrocious way to be introduced, but for some reason I kept coming back. I kept being interested, and I ended up falling in love with one of the genres that I don't think I'll ever have stray far from my heart, because it truly made me see who I was as a gamer and how I developed as a gamer in long term in my, let's say, my more hardcore skill set and whatnot. But Dark Souls 2, not Dark Souls 1, but Dark Souls 2 takes the number 2 spot, because I never got a chance to play the first one. And at the time, Dark Souls 2 was out for about a year, and it was like the Ultimate Edition or whatever. And it was on sale, so I was interested in the series at the time, and I bought it, and I played a good amount, but I kept getting discouraged because I kept getting confused, and it was really hard. But I would stop playing the game and keep coming back maybe a few days later or a week later. But I did this multiple times, but every single time I did it, I would actually progress much further than I would have, or than I did previously. It was interesting. It was weird how I did that, because every single time it was a lot further that I progressed on. It ended up being the game, and I loved it. I went back and did New Game Plus and kept on playing, and then Dark Souls, or not Dark Souls 3, PlayStation. A year later, I picked it up on there, and then I ended up playing Dark Souls 3. But Dark Souls 2 was my introduction into the series, and it's just one of my all-time absolute favorites, and it's one of the reasons why I'm so ecstatic for Sekiro to be coming out so soon. I'm just so excited.
Good choice, man. Good choice.
Right.
Obviously, I would say that's an unorthodox introduction to the series, but
Right?
by no
Right?
means a bad game. By no means a bad game.
None.
Dark Souls 2 was one of the swan songs. You know, it was one of the last
Yeah.
showcase titles of, look, we've milked every ounce we can get from the 360 and the PS3. There's not much room left.
No, no, not a lot. And it really is, like you said, an unorthodox introduction to the series. But damn, what an awesome damn series! Like, I understand people have such major difficulties with the difficulty in that game, but you have to understand it's there for a reason, and the satisfaction you can get about yourself and about how much you can accomplish in a game and overcoming your struggles and the just you feel so much better about yourself when you get past the points where you think you couldn't get past previously, and it really will make you look at yourself differently than you have about your gaming. So I recommend people to just keep pushing forward.
Or you can smash a controller through a bookshelf like myself and never touch the game.
No, save yourself the money.
Now, see, there's so many games that I can list off that came out last generation that were simply amazing. Things like Red Dead Redemption, like even Call of Duty Modern Warfare set the standard for FPS at the time. There's so many games, but the first game that blew me away, and this was when I first got my Xbox 360. I can still remember. First games I played on my Xbox 360 when I bought it, the first single-player game I played that absolutely blew my mind with its sheer size of world at the time was the original Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Good choice, man. Go. Good choice.
Now, after Ezio came out, and Assassin's Creed 2 is an amazing game and significantly better in the story department than the original Assassin's Creed. But what Assassin's Creed did for open world games for its time was absolutely astounding. I remember how blown away. I remember watching, I can't remember what it was. It used to be a game show on Spike TV, and they talk about video games. And they were talking about as the size of Assassin's Creed world and how they thought it'd be years before they'd see a world that big in terms of the sheer scale and how you could kill and interact with everybody. Like, I remember going through some of the cities, and you could literally kill everyone in the city. Like, you could kill all the peasants, you could kill all the guards. It was such a open-ended game in terms of that. And like the assassination, the like parkouring, it was all so new.
Yeah.
So it was just one of a kind for its time period, and will always be one of my favorite 360 games. Sam, last one.
All right, man. You know, there are so many other games like that would be interesting to make a top 10 for this. Assassin's Creed 2 is one, you know, Fallout 3. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm seriously going to cheat on this, by the way. Okay, so fair warning. I am cheating the bejesus out of this final pick. It's Mass Effect. All right?
Oh, no.
Phrase it as the first game or phrases the series. I care not, because I'm referring to the series. But if you need me to qualify as the first game, so be it. Mass Effect has accomplished something that, to date, no other series has accomplished. Sure, you can import your world state in Dragon Age, and you can, you know, answer some questions of what happened to make some decisions for Witcher 2 and 3. But the reality is, no other series has accomplished what Mass Effect did of, it's your Shepard. Commander Shepard is you, and then that goes forward, and the smallest ripples can have the most massive consequences by the end of the series. Seeing that struggle, building up your companions, going from proving that humanity has the right to have one of their commandos be a Spectre, and hunting down the rogue Spectre Saren, and then that small thing, in quotation marks, becomes a galaxy-wide manhunt, which in turn becomes a galaxy-wide suicide mission. which then becomes the very fate of the universe. The very fate of the galaxy is at risk, and it's incredible. The effort that BioWare breathed into that series is shown in the Codex. Information that is not even remotely necessary to understand in order to play the games multiple times, but it's in the Codex anyways. They explain how everything works, how every facet of different species function. It's phenomenal. I've played through that series multiple times, but I've played the first game innumerable times. And it, as a series, as a trilogy, stands as one of BioWare's greatest accomplishments of all time.
Good choice. Good choice.
Makes me wish I could have gotten through that game. I got so bored with that game.
Oh, man.
The first Mass Effect, like, the first 10 hours of that game, the combat is painful. And then the sheer volume of dialogue at the time. Keep in mind, I was very casual at this point. That game was just like, oh my God, let me shoot something. And then it's like, oh, don't let me shoot something. The shooting's terrible. I definitely understand why everyone loves that franchise as a whole. It's definitely the peak BioWare outside of maybe one other game. Jared, last pick.
All right. This is one out of the ballpark. Another one. And I got to show Nintendo some love. Because this is a series, again, is another one that's really close to my heart. And I think that it really has probably impacted me the most throughout my childhood. And has really given me my interest in RPGs, action adventures, platformers, and FPS games all combined into one. And that is Metroid Prime 3. I love the original Metroid Prime games on GameCube, Metroid Prime 1 and 2, with Metroid Prime 3 coming out last generation on the Wii. Oh, man. Yes, I owned a Wii. I played on the Wii, and I loved Metroid Prime 3. I know that all rhymed, but it's one game that I don't think I'll ever truly get tired of. I could repeatedly play over and over and just continually enjoy the story. The way that they created the environment in that game, how to utilize Samus's suit in the environment and for traversal, for combat, for boss fights, everything like that. It really was just so wholesome, so good to play. It felt so alive yet dark and dead at the same time because you're deep in space and it's really kind of just you and all these enemies around you. But a lot of the places you go to are abandoned and it's dark. And Metroid Prime 3 Corruption has been the one game that I've been wanting a continuation on for a long time. Not specifically Metroid Prime 3, but in that series in general. So when they announced Metroid Prime 4, so excited, absolutely ecstatic. Cannot wait for Metroid Prime 4 to come out. Whenever that's going to happen, don't know when, but yeah, Metroid Prime 3 Corruption for last generation for my number one spot.
Good choice. A bit unorthodox, but good choice.
Yeah, right? Again.
Metroid Prime, like Metroid series, is classic. A lot of love for that franchise. Shout out to you for tossing a Wii game on there.
Right?
I've got to give a shout out to the one game. I remember I bought a Wii and I bought it was Guitar Hero was the first one I bought. No, I bought Rock Band on Wii because I bought it as the band pack because they were selling the full band pack with the Wii. And the only other game I bought with my Wii was a game called Red Steel. Cold Steel? Red Steel.
Red Steel.
I think it was Red Steel.
It rings a bell.
Let me Google it here. Red Steel. Yeah, so Red Steel is a first-person shooter video game published by Ubisoft for Nintendo's Wii console. It was developed by Ubisoft Paris Studio and unveiled in May 2006 in an issue of Game Informer. It's a great game. It was a lot of fun because the thing was you had sword combat. You had to use the Wii remote, and it was super clunky, but it was super.
Oh, you know what? I think I played that too. Yeah, I am. It rings a bell. No wonder it rings a bell.
Here, I'll post a link in our chat over here. You guys can look at the trailer when you have a sec. But it's it was goofy, but it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. It was just weird, goofy fun. The controls were finicky, but it was like Yakuza. It was like Yakuza except first person. It was cool. So yeah, those are our top 5 games from last generation. Obviously, we missed a ton. Things like Red Dead Redemption. There's just so many games that came out last generation that were so good. The Uncharted franchise, Last of Us, etc., etc. I'd even throw Dead Rising 2 in there as the peak for that franchise. So yeah, that's it for that. Now, as a new little segment to wrap up, I'm going to be asking on Twitter. You follow me at Undead3XVI or at the Gaming Perspective Twitter, which is at Gaming PERSPECT, because it will not let me use perspective. So we're the Gaming Perspect on Twitter, which forever is going to annoy the hell out of me. But I'm going to be asking you guys for questions, comments, and concerns in regards to the show, news topics, or anything you want asked. And this is in preparation for when we switch to MP3 pre-recorded format, so you guys can still interact with us and talk with us in a pre-recorded fashion. So if you have any questions or anything else, you can still put them in the chat right now, and we will get to them. But I'm going to start with the ones I received through Twitter. So we'll start with a few more difficult ones. So, Anthem or Mass Effect Andromeda?
Anthem!
Sam?
I literally don't have Anthem, so I'll have to say Mass Effect Andromeda.
I choose option 3, and that's suicide.
Jeez, man.
Wow, that escalated quickly. Whew. Damn. All right. Just yeah. Damn. All right.
All right. Another question was, what indie game would you guys most like to see ported over to the Nintendo Switch? So basically, let me phrase this as, what game do you think perfectly fits the Nintendo Switch that should come across? That has
indie or not? Because you said indie the first time around.
Yes, that's indie game.
Paratopic.
No, man, I can't even think of one right now.
I had one. The biggest thing I was excited for Switch people was when that rumor of Xbox Game Pass coming to Switch. I was like, maybe, and the physical edition or the digital editions of like Cuphead and Ori. I was like, God, Cuphead would be so good on Switch.
Yes, it would actually.
People wondering, why are you playing a handheld on a bus and getting angry and punching people? I'm playing Cuphead and I'm making progress.
Is this the reason why the police are pulling over the bus?
Maybe. My rage has no end.
I see.
I don't know. I'd love to see some like RTS games on Switch.
Yeah, like honestly, not for indies, but like when the first Switch first came out, the one game I really wanted on the Switch in general was actually Stardew Valley, and shortly afterwards, Stardew Valley ended up coming out onto the Nintendo Switch. I was like, sweet, this is fantastic. But like you said, Nick, RTSs I think would be a fantastic fit for the Nintendo Switch. If I was to see any sort of game to end up being introduced to the Nintendo Switch as an RTS port, there's a bit of a stretch, and I don't know if it'll ever happen. We'll see. But Halo Wars, I think, would be great. It's not an indie, but it's completely out of the norm and whatever of the question. But it's really all I can think of that would make currently that is a game that would make a good fit for the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, for sure. If the hardware could play it, something like Frostpunk or something on the go would be amazing. But
That'd be good,
Well, it would be good actually.
Thing is Nintendo's hardware is Nintendo's hardware, and I think Frostpunk, one of the difficulties would be porting the controls over might be a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
But RTSs on the go would be fantastic. That's
definitely.
So that answers that question. Dan, I'm not answering your question of boxers or no boxers. Because this podcast is recorded on a Saturday, and the proper answer is no pants, no boxers, living wild and free.
Right. Exactly how we do it.
That's why whenever I'm on cam, I do not stand up. Another question was, what makes you guys the best podcast on a Saturday night?
Because we actually talk about gaming stuff.
Say it's our magnetic personalities.
We actually talk about games. I'm not self-absorbed at all in saying it's the best podcast on a Saturday.
Hey, we're about the. Just saying, maybe we are.
And I've been keeping these questions anonymous, but this one's really hard to keep anonymous here. Why is the PlayStation bra so brasome?
Because he's brasome, brah.
I mean, he's the one and only, the original bra. Like, come on.
The bra.
And all I will say to that is settle down, Thomas. Settle down.
Figured out.
Shout out to PlayStation Bra, of course. I had some on my main account too that people DM'd me. Here's one. Sorry, I had to sort through my DMs. It's a two-parter. This first question is directed to Sam. Why do you let Nicholas have such terrible opinion on Naughty Dog games? How do you stand for this nonsense? You need to keep it in mind.
Because I'll answer this, Nick. I'll answer this. Because I have so much time in my day, and my brain is like a CPU. I have to devote so much to so many different processes, and if I devote something to a process, and trust me, talking to Nick about his opinion on Naughty Dog games is a process, not a simple conversation, then other results are going to suffer. So I simply don't have the energy to spare. That's why.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
It hurts me just as bad as it hurts you, okay?
That's so true.
I'm sorry.
That's good.
We're going to move on to the second part of this question. When are you going to call out Jared for the state of Anthem? You guys were pretty adamant about it and competitive prior to Anthem's launch, but you guys haven't talked about it since Anthem's launch. What's up with that?
Okay. Do you see Eric here? Do you see Eric here?
What?
No?
Nope.
Then we can't. We can't, because Eric was a big part of that. When
game
Eric is here and the four are assembled, we're going to be having a mighty interesting conversation. Don't
worry, I'm going to be bringing back Lord Cognito because he can hold that L as well.
Oh yeah, Mr. Guys, I'm telling you, you're going to see its wonders himself. Oh yeah, he'll be hauled back in here for questioning as well. No question.
Hey, it has wonders. Don't you put your name on that game.
Save it, Jerry.
It's got Jerry, issues, okay, I know, but it's still Jerry, good.
At this point, you're standing for Anthem. You're like standing on top of a javelin, being like, "This game's great," and everyone's off and playing the Division 2 now.
Yeah, I'm doing that and saying that while watching everyone else playing the Division 2, and then when I see that they're playing the Division 2, I sit down disappointed and turn around and turn on the Division 2.
See, all I have pictures of in my head is your javelin sitting beside your couch facing the opposite direction of your TV.
I'm waiting for content, okay? I can only do so much. And I've literally done everything I can do in that game other than try and max out my javelin in full legendaries and get all the damn achievements. That's it. That's all I can really aim for to do in that game. I'm stuck. I have to wait for content. This is brutal. It is tearing me apart because I love that game, but I need content, guys.
Let's end the show before I cry.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll be holding Jared accountable. We will be taking him to court once Eric returns.
Take you to court.
I got a question inquiry in finally of who on the panel will be going to E3 and will we be doing meetups? I'm flattered that people call them meetups. That makes it sound like I have some sort of social media clout. I don't. Me and Sam will be at E3. If you want to meet us, you can just like DM us and
hit us up. Seriously, just
we'll grab a drink. Like I'm really,
we'll make it happen.
I'm really flattered that the fact people are like, "Are you going to do a meetup?" I'm like, "Yeah." Me and my 128 subscribers. Let's do a meetup, boys. No, seriously. If you're at E3, you want to meet me, you want to meet Sam, hit us up. We'll see if we can fit you in the schedule, depending on how scheduled up Sam gets us for appointments. Which I imagine.
And we haven't discussed podcast plans yet, since Jared and Eric are going to be holding down the fort here. Jared is no doubt going to be extremely busy covering the conferences and all that.
Definitely.
So we haven't discussed what's going to go on there. We do want to bring you guys some content, though, not just stuff on Tick. Obviously, you're going to be able to look forward to our interviews and articles and previews and coverage of the conferences on Tick, but we want to do some other stuff, but we haven't really talked about it enough yet.
No,
so.
There'll be vlogs. There'll be stupid stuff. I'm sure me and PlayStation Bra will get up to some form of shenanigans that involves a PlayStation 4 box and trying to sell it on the show floor. But it'll be a great time. If you're at E3, like I said, hit me up. Always interested in meeting people that I've talked to, interacted with, and have trash talked me. Hit me up. It'll be a great time. Looking forward to E3 2019. And yes, Alden, I'm getting to your question. Alden asked, when will you let Alden back on the show? When you admit Horizon Zero Dawn's an overrated game, Alden.
Ooh, that's a tall order there.
That statement was not endorsed by anyone else on this podcast.
I wouldn't go that far. Just saying, throwing it out there. You know, I've played it.
Hey, guys, you know, if people keep bugging me about my opinions on games, I'll do an hour live stream dissecting why The Last of Us is overrated. I'll do it.
Oh. the amount of hate you'll get in the comments alone. Is popcorn worthy. If you're gonna do that, please let me know.
Oh man. You know what makes me sad though? So many people take those comments from me seriously. It makes me so sad how serious people take me now. Like, I'm kidding 98% of the time.
Hey, Heath Ledger's been asking it for years.
Oh man, I just like saying things that get people riled up. I'm guilty of it. I've spent too much time around Anchorman, and that's my excuse. See, at least one of the Tolberts has good taste in games. Shout out to Mike who said Last of Us probably is overrated.
There you go. There you go.
Sam has gone silent because he is now going to go beat his brother.
I would never beat him up.
As he says, Micah, you little.
All right. So this has been a episode of the Gaming Perspective Podcast, episode 39. Hello, how are you? I'm trying to get more inventive with the episode names, so bear with me.
Hello, Moto.
They will get better, but then I want to thank you guys. To be fair, it's better than Uncharted. Well, Demi, that's saying a really low bar. Okay, moving on. Please don't let me talk about Naughty Dog games.
Just keep beating that dead horse, man. You just
beat that dead horse. Like, what's my brand? Dunking on Naughty Dog games and Baldur's Gate 2. What a brand. So, this is about episode 39 of the Gaming Perspective podcast. We go live 8 p.m. Eastern time every week. We're going to be making some changes over the next couple of weeks. Some changes in arts, logos, thumbnails, etc. Switching to MP3 format. And there will be a new way that you can support the show, which, as always, is optional going forward, but we will keep you guys more informed in that. And I'm really excited because I will be back thanks to time flexibility. I will be back to making videos again, and I'm going to be doing some walkthroughs and guides for upcoming games through Tick Games Network, which will both be written and video guides for things like The Division 2, Sekiro, and more. And yes, the guy who hates Souls games is going to be doing Sekiro guides. So be excited for that. The shortest straw has been drawn. So we will get to outros here. Sam, where can the good people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Samuel Tolbert. That's Tolbert. You can find everything I write on tickgamesnetwork.com. Right on. And Jared?
You can find me on Twitter at RageVirus_X or as well at tickgamesnetwork.com.
Right on. I'm Nicholas Downey from the Inner Circle Games Network. You can find everything I write on tickgamesnetwork.com. News, reviews, opinion pieces, and all my hot takes in a written format. Got some great stuff coming up through the week. We've got Division 2 reviews. We got Division 2 walkthroughs. We've got guides. We've got Sekiro Collector's Edition unboxing going live Friday night. We've got a lot of great stuff for you guys in the upcoming week. And I've been saying this for 2 weeks, but I think I've got the guests nailed down. So hopefully later this week, I'll be able to announce a very special episode that we will be doing next week, hopefully, scheduling permitting. It's a special on BioWare, its past, its present, and its future. So I hope you guys will tune in for that, and we will see you guys next week at 8 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. You guys relax, have a great weekend, and we'll see you all next week.